Yeah, I think game management is always an important part of football at the top level, and I think with reflection on the game on Saturday, and obviously we know how a lot of games in the Premier League are the form that they're taking at the minute, particularly when you look at the Tottenham game yesterday and many games recently. Game management is a huge thing, and I think where we are as a squad now with some new players, I think it's understandable that we will have moments like we had on Saturday, although we don't want them. But for sure, against a team of the quality of Seville, we have to make sure we get the small details right in a game of this size against an opponent as good.
Can I ask about Liverpool had some bad news with Virgil van Dijk? Do you expect his loss to have a bearing on the title race going forward?
Uh,
In the way that
but
Man City lost Laporte last year.
I think Virgil van Dijk is clearly an outstanding player, one of the outstanding defenders in world football, and has been for the last 2 or 3 seasons. And a player of that quality and size is going to affect any team because individuals and quality of individual players like that make huge differences. But we're talking about Liverpool. We're talking about a squad that's been built that are so strong, a great manager. Of course, nobody wants to lose a player like that, and I obviously wish him my best in terms of seeing that kind of injury. But it remains to be seen how much it affects.
Is there a deeper reason why we're seeing wonderful spectacle and great spectacle?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, John, I wouldn't say my DNA is to be a naturally attacking manager. I think every manager wants to play nice attacking football because we all like to see that. But the defensive side of our game is nothing short on me, and we're always trying to improve on that. In fact, when you look at us since last season and the beginning of this season, I think in terms of chances given away and shots at our goal, we're second best in the Premier League. Clearly, we have an issue where too many of those shots are going in, which we were always working on. In terms of the season so far in the Premier League results and goals, and I should particularly talk about ourselves with this one, is that there has been a lack of preparation to this season. So if there are teams that have brought players in, or if you're working on small changes to the way you want to play, those things are hammered out on the training ground, and hopefully not hammered out on the pitch. Unfortunately for us, we're having to use game minutes a lot for players' fitness, for the way the team works with and without the ball. And maybe there's an element of that for everybody. I think there's obviously the fans not being in the stadiums has made a difference as well. I can't put my finger on why or what. Yeah, I don't understand the first part of the question. I'm not sure whenever you would say you were satisfied with anything in this sport, in this game of football, because you're always searching for improvement. So there's never going to be a line where I draw and go, there we go, we're very happy. That would be the start of the down. The way I talk about anything but the need to work and improve daily. So every training session, every meeting we have to get better, and those are the rules of football. The clear fact is here that when normally you have 1 month or so of pre-season, you don't have that, nor have other teams, and maybe that's a factor in the results that we're seeing. But we have to concern ourselves least with that. There's nothing given to you in the Premier League or the Champions League, and all we have to do is carry on working to get relationships around the pitch, to have players fit, which has obviously been an issue for us, and stay calm, keep working. Well, I think it's a great platform to learn, because in the Champions League you're playing against the best, and we played against the best in Bayern Munich. Team and the work that they've done there and the strength of their teams, and where we were a young team last year, working a lot to improve. I think the Bayern Munich game was a great marker for particularly the young players in the squad to realise the levels that need to be attained. I remember having that feeling myself as a younger player. Getting through the group was also difficult for us, having lost the first game last year, so we needed to show a lot of discipline and focus to get through hard matches away at Ajax and away at Lille. Hopefully there's some really good lessons that the players and the team have learnt in that period.
What did last season's participation in the Champions League teach your players about those margins? And then just on a follow on from that, do you think that the circumstances, the conditions that we're playing in at the moment behind closed doors, etc., has kind of blurred those margins at all?
Yeah, I mean, we lost against Bayern Munich without a fine margin, to be fair. But what I will say is that when you talk about details in games, I remember the first leg very well. We didn't play particularly well in the first half, but we had a couple of opportunities to score. And in the second half, Bayern came out and scored 2 and 3 goals in quick succession, and pretty much made the tie very difficult for us, obviously. So I think when I mentioned before about concentration and focus and discipline in our away results last year, I think that becomes even more important than any other kind of football because of the levels of the Champions League. So that's something I will always put very clear to the players going into games of this level against opposition like Sevilla. With the lack of fans blurring the fine margins, I'm unfortunately I can't really give you an answer on that, Sammy. Something's obviously changing at the minute in terms of number of goals and some of the results that we're seeing. I think there are contributing factors, and I think the fan one is a contributing factor. But to what degree it's blurring those fine margins, I actually don't have that answer, I'm afraid.
Hi, Frank.
Hi, Jerry.
Is there any update on Billy Gilmour's rehabilitation? Is he anywhere near fit or training yet?
Yeah, Billy's working really well. He's got probably 3 weeks away from his return. Working outside on his own with the physio still. We hope that he'll integrate with either ourselves or the under-23s to get some training minutes soon. Yeah, so hopefully 3 or 4 weeks, I suppose. Probably the other side of the next international break, all being well. Yeah, I mean, I keep talking about the need for work and how things can take time. And again, Andy, that we've now playing with some new players coming into the squad and players that are coming into playing the first team. So I think it's very understandable at this stage of the season to have moments in games where I talk about game management and the need to maybe go longer and mix our game up. Is something that obviously has to be worked on with time, and things like Southampton at the weekend, unfortunately, are lessons to be learnt in real time because, as I said, we don't have so much time with the players so far this season, and that will come, and we need to make sure those lessons are learnt quickly, and the players will be made very aware of that. In terms of the goals conceded, yeah, I am aware of the stats, and I don't know if you were listening before when I mentioned the fact that the other stat is that since I've been here, we've conceded the second least shots in the Premier League, I think behind Manchester City. So it helps you to sometimes maybe narrow down some of the issues, and the issues are that we don't concede many shots on our goal, but when we do, we concede goals, and it's something we're aware of. I think we were aware of when you look at recruitment, but more than importantly than that, you're aware of when you work every day on the pitch with the players to make sure that when we hopefully set up well, we don't concede many chances, but the chances we concede, we let in too much, and that's something we work on specifically. And of course, we want to concede less goals, as all teams do at the moment. There are teams that are conceding a lot of goals in the Premier League. I think we're all in a similar position to a degree with that at the moment. It'll always be something we work on as much as we do our attacking play.
Okay, that concludes the manager's press conference. Please stay on this link, and Cesar Azpilicueta will appear any second. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Done? Yep.